Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids. That was weird.
Why was it weird?
Usually the music finishes and it sort of like just faded out before it was done. So I was expecting to have like another 3 seconds before I came on.
No, I shortened the clip by about 45 seconds, the starting, because I had requests from a number of people who asked me to do it because they said the beginning was too long. And I'm like, yes, I understand that, but it takes a long time to do the changes and edits and deconstructs. So I did as much of it as I could yesterday without cutting it down to nothing. So I cut about 45 seconds out.
Okay. Well, that explains why I'm just popping in. Hello, kids. Welcome to season 3 and episode number 221 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah. Added a little snaps today. A little variety. Today, recording day is Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023, and it is Election Day if you are living in Manitoba. So do your civic duty. And it is going to be a lovely day here at the Beaver Lodge. I'm your host, Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A. And with me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. Big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mystery from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We have a Tuesday morning nibble for you, but before we go any further, let's ask Mr. Grizzly how he's doing and how his mental health is today.
Good morning, Mr. Beaver. We're going to gloss over my mental health and just get right to the show.
Okay, I will respect that, but there's a story there.
Thank you.
Definitely a story there. All right, kids. As we said, today is election day in Manitoba. However, yesterday there was a by-election in the Jean Talon electoral district in Quebec City area, and an interesting outcome. I don't know if it was predicted, but the Parti Québecois candidate in the riding won that one, which is very interesting because the Parti Québécois only has 3 seats in the Quebec legislature, in the Assemblée nationale. And so that makes a 4th for them. And it's not a win for François Legault, which is kind of interesting as well. And we maybe have not heard a lot of him in the rest of Canada, but the leader of the Parti Québécois, Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, there's an alliteration for you if you want. There's a lot of P's in there. Yes. Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon du Parti Québécois. That's a papa. Um, he has, how do we put it? In the last Quebec election, there was the CAQ and then pretty much everybody else. And they were all within like 2 or 3%. And since becoming leader, he sort of has started to stand out, and by his interventions and the way he handles himself and the way he's running his party, and he's been getting more attention, such that it's more of a two-person race now between the CAQ, or two-party race, the CAQ and the PQ, with the Parti Québecois. Last time I had checked, somewhere around 26% in the polls, as opposed to, I think when the Quebec election happened, the three parties, the Québec Solidaire, Parti Québécois, and the Liberal Party, were all between like 13 and 16. So there's definitely, a first tier, second tier, and now third tier, and they're the second tier. They seem to be the party that the population of Quebec has chosen as the next government in waiting, if they want to get rid of the CAQ come next election.
Sounds like it. That's sort of the buzz that I'm getting from folks that I've spoken to in the province who are in that area of the know, if you will.
Yeah,
They're saying, yeah,
he's
it
performing
looks like a
well.
sea change is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So not sure if it's enough to say next election that Legault goes, but he is starting to grate on some people. We used to call him, well, we haven't talked about him a lot, but when we did, we talked about him a lot as Mononc Frankie, Uncle Frankie,
Mhm.
because he has that bit of an avuncular style to his. I don't want to say authoritarianism, but ethnocentrism.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
it's like it's funny, the Parti Québécois is the party in waiting, right? But here's the thing: separatism is not on the table. It's not even a thing
no,
anymore.
no, no,
It really
no,
isn't.
no. That's what I mean.
It it
Yeah,
it just it
I mean
isn't.
they'll speak to that obviously and talk to it, but I mean it can't be a central campaign, and they can't be running on "We promise" or a referendum or on the next thing.
No.
It's probably not going to happen. Um,
Well, it's not even wanted by the people of Quebec anymore. They're like, okay, we're done with this
yeah,
shit.
I think the whole Bloc Québécois notion of or CAQ, what they've called autonomist, rather than separatist. So, more
Mhm.
autonomy within Canada. But I mean, you know, you kind of recognize that you have a good deal here. Um,
Yeah,
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 right.
exactly.
I mean, especially when you look around the world. I mean, we just have to look at Nagorno-Karabakh right now, and Armenia and Azerbaijan, where 130,000 uh, ethnic Armenians, I believe, are in a mass exodus out of the country.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, the the words being thrown about are ethnic cleansing, and if the ethnic cleansing
Hmm.
wasn't going to happen, potentially genocide. Um,
That's scary as hell.
so when you look at that's how certain countries deal with their minorities, we do pretty
You're
good,
okay here.
and
We still have a long ways
we
to
have a long
go.
way to go.
A lot of work to do, but
But I mean, this is like a political minority that's had like referendums and has a political party and has held the official
mhm.
opposition and everything. And even, we're going to talk about this, but, during the time that the speaker has stepped down, and now, because the vote will be held this morning, the actual speaker or interim speaker was just someone from the Bloc Québécois for a couple of days, was running things.
Yeah,
So, and again, like compare and contrast with what we're learning about India, where simply talking about it is considered a terrorist act. So, when you look around the world, you kind of realize, in this case, membership may have its privileges. So, autonomist. So, and the way that the English language is viewed is different as well. The younger generation, English is a language just like any other when you're all connected on the web, and like Spanish, like anything, it's the one, that's the most spoken, but you're no longer, the fear, the younger generation, the fear that English will supplant French in their lives is not there, because now they have a whole world of French. that they're connected to
Yes.
rather than just their region. So like,
And it does make a
well,
difference,
for
right?
me, for example, right? I mean, I've been living, here at the Beaver Lodge, and the further away you get from Ottawa, unless you're going
Mhm,
north, the more English it gets, the less opportunity I have to use my French. So, and it's,
mhm.
language is use it or lose it. But because I'm connected to all my Francophone friends on the web and on the line, and I have access to, even if I was living in the most remote parts, so long as I had an internet connection, I would be able to watch some French TV and watch news and keep in contact with my
Mhm.
culture, which wasn't the case, right? I mean, unless it was radio, of course, because that was coast to
But
coast
it's
to coast.
changed, yeah.
So it makes it easier to keep it if you have it, if you live in an area where you don't get to use it a lot. But that wasn't the case back in the day. Uh,
Which makes me beg the question, if Pierre Poilievre keeps saying he's gonna kill the CBC and lease the building out to apartment dwellers in a building that the CBC doesn't own, what's gonna happen with Radio Canada?
I know. Well, that's why that resolution failed at the
Yeah,
convention,
yeah.
because the resolution didn't distinguish between Société Radio-Canada and CBC.
Well, I mean,
So
it's one
I know,
corporation,
but the
right?
resolution said just the CBC. It might have passed, but since it said CBC, Société Radio-Canada, and the Conservatives learned during its time with Harper when it did the culture cuts that you do
Mhm.
that, you lose your election. So, so
Yeah,
or,
simple
yeah.
as that.
So, you don't mess with that in Quebec. So there's a reason that that motion failed at the convention. Um,
Speaking of, leaders,
yes.
I have, a video, sorry, a photo here, from, well, a recent concert. I don't know how recent. Let me just put this on the screen. I'm just going to show you the two people here in the photo.
Oh my.
So that's Bonnie Crombie, wannabe Liberal leader, with Mr.
It's
X.
the famous Mr. X. Hi, I'm Mr.
So
X.
that guy's everywhere, man. I got to give him credit. He gets around. Like, I mean, credit where credit's due. Dude puts the work in. I mean,
He's a networker.
he's good at it. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's good at it. He's in there with everybody. What is he doing? Oh, he's harming people in Ontario who are not wealthy and pissing on us. But he's putting the work in.
Mm.
You don't become an evil empire by accident. It does take effort.
Wonder what his Fitbit says his steps are.
Well, he is a fitness buff too. He used to compete, right? So,
Just like a little, yeah.
but it's like, oh, Bonnie Crombie, that is not a good photograph for you, Bonnie.
Ah,
That is what we call damning evidence of possible collusion. Possible collusion. Because I mean, she wants to be run the Liberal Party of Ontario, but she is with Dougie's guy.
ah,
Well, the parties have to get along. Yeah, but he's not a politician. He's a dirty land developer. Well, actually, land broker, not even a developer.
mm-hmm.
He's not a developer. He's just a broker. He's the guy who got them the green belt.
Oh, Bonnie. Oh, God. Well, I did get my membership, so I am going to be voting, and I'll be doing my bit. Like once again, I probably have, I did my bit about my membership,
Mhm.
and I voted not PP, and it still was the best $10 I ever spent, even though we still got PP. But at least I'll go down. I went down swinging. Yeah. So today, first order of business. Well, if you're in Manitoba, first order of business. Polls open at 8 a.m. Right, close at 8 p.m. Remember to have your ID with you, one piece of government issued ID or two other pieces of acceptable ID. Please, if you want to be sure that you have the right ID, check with Elections Manitoba website before you go to make sure you have everything. Yeah, bring a friend, cast your vote. People are pretty excited about this election because, according to Elections Manitoba, over 200,000 people have cast an early vote. That's about 23% of the people who were eligible to vote, and a record.
Hugh, vote early, vote often. Well, you can't vote often.
Vote often.
This is not American
Vote
Idol.
often in your lifetime, just not in the same election.
Yes. No, it's not American Idol.
Collect
But
them all.
I appreciate the sentiment.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, Kid Hugh.
Yes.
But only vote once today. Yeah. So make sure that you do all of that, and results will start coming in. I believe that all the CBC will be going on air around 7:30 or something like that with some pre-election show, and then the results should be coming in. Even though the polls are indicating that Wapakanu and the NDP are in the lead, as we mentioned before, Winnipeg, the way the population is sort of divided, still makes it such that there are some close races, and that it could be, if it's a majority, not by much. A blowout isn't expected. The spread might be within 5 or 6 seats. So I don't know if we'll have to wait long before it is declared. And then you just want to know whether or not how thin a minority or how thin a majority it is, and whether the Liberals will be holding the balance of power or not, because that will be the second storyline tonight. All right. To the Speaker vote. That will happen this morning. It's going to be the absolute first order of business when the House reconvenes today. And there are 8 candidates who are in contention for the job. I know it's a secret ballot vote. I'm not sure whether or not it's a preferential vote or you just vote once and it was the one that has the plurality wins. Because the Liberals have 5 candidates who are interested in it, and that makes it very easy to split the vote unless everybody doesn't rule candidates out to say, no, we can only have one candidate because you can only vote for one. And they do allow everyone that wants to run, but they all agree that they're going to vote on one. So because, caucus management, you don't want to tell people you can't run. So it just depends how much the Liberals are going to whip this vote or not, whether to get the one they want. But with 8 candidates, there is the possibility that we get a speaker that is not from the governing party this time around. So the 8 candidates that we have are Liberal Quebec MP and Assistant Deputy Speaker Alexandra Mendez, Liberal Quebec MP and Parliamentary Secretary Greg Fergus, Liberal PEI MP Sean Casey, Liberal MP Stéphane Lauzon, Liberal Quebec MP Peter Schiffke, Conservative Nova Scotia MP and Deputy Speaker Chris D'Entremont, the NDP Ontario MP and Assistant Deputy Speaker Carol Hughes, and Green PC MP Elizabeth May. She's not expected to be present for the vote today, but she's in the running. Interesting. Normally, party leaders cannot, and cabinet ministers cannot be in the race for speaker. However, I'm thinking that because the Green Party only has 2 seats and therefore isn't a recognized party in the House, technically she's not a recognized leader. Because remember that thing that the other day when she wanted to express her sentiments and she was asking for unanimous vote so that she can have the floor.
They cut her immediately.
Yeah, and 2 people said no. So she needs to actually ask permission of the other members to speak, except for a rare few exceptions, because it's not a recognized party. So I'm guessing that's probably the reason for which she can be in contention, even though she is a party leader.
It would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what it says here. I'm reading an article from CTV here. With Dean of the House, the member with the longest unbroken record of service, Bloc Québécois MP Louis Plamondon, presiding for his 6th time. So that's how they determine the speaker in the interim like that. It's the member of the House that's been sitting the longest. So this time it happens to be a Bloc Québecois MP, which is kind of funny in a way because I still remember the T-shirt from their first election that says, "I voted in the first and last election in which the Bloc Québécois ran," because they were only supposed to be around for one.
Yes.
Oops! Just like all those conservative senators that were only staying for 2 terms maximum,
Mm.
and
Well,
they're still
isn't
there.
that what Pierre Poilievre once wrote? Should be no more than maximum of 2 terms.
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
Should not be a lifelong career.
yeah, I think
The guy who's been there 20 years.
yes, as an MP too. But I think with the senators, I think Harper made them all sign that pledge, that, it's like, "Well, I'm naming you and you won't be here more than 8 years, out of your own free
Why is
will, you
Denise
will."
Batter still there?
Well, exactly. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, yeah, like this means anything because once they're in,
Nothing.
there's no
It means
mechanism to get
nothing.
them out. So yeah,
It's not even lip
yeah,
service. It's not even lip service.
some people did honor it. Some people did honor it,
Mhm.
but a good number did not.
An honorable person will. Somebody who's only in it for themselves and the money they can get from it and the connections they can make will stick around as long as they can.
And some people like Michael Forte even left earlier. So there you
Mm.
go. Um, Quebec MP Louis Plamondon is presiding for his 6th time. All interested candidates will be given an opportunity to make a brief speech, pitching other MPs on why they'd be the best to uphold the traditions and decorum that are the backbone of the House of Commons. So, if we would have known this was happening,
Mhm.
nobody known he was going to implode. This would make a great reality show, actually. Canada's next top speaker. Now sashay in the row. Walk, walk, walk. No, nope, no, that won't do. Not looking regal enough. Then, after a 30-minute break for last-minute lobbying, MPs will receive their ballots from a House clerk and cast their votes behind the curtains. Because the speaker election has been conducted using a secret ranked ballot, okay, so it is ranked ballot, since 2015, MPs can't use the electronic voting application. This means MPs will have to be on the Hill to cast their vote in person. House officials will then cast the votes, and if no candidate secures more than an absolute majority on the first ballot, the candidate with the fewest is eliminated, and the votes they received are then redistributed to the second choice on those ballots. This continues until one person receives more than half the votes. The only information that would be made public at the end of the process is the name of the winner, not how many ballots it took, nor how many votes they won. Aww. Damn.
I want to be speaker
Huh?
just for one day.
One day.
One
One
day.
day. We could be
That's it.
speakers just for one day.
I would not put up with anything and I would scold.
Yeah.
I would scold firmly.
Yeah.
Order. You will not talk over one another. You will not clap like seals. You will not bark like seals. You will be respectful in this house. This is the people's house, and 40 million Canadians are paying for this. Act like adults.
Or
Yeah. I mean, I watch maybe 10 minutes a question period a day because it's all I can take.
oh man.
Children in the 2nd grade have better debating skills.
Yep. Yep. Once the winner is named, they will be invited to take the chair. Traditionally, they are ushered up by the Prime Minister and official opposition leader, and the new speaker is to display some degree of ceremonial resistance to walk up, given the role in the past was one the MPs were actually reluctant to take. I think back in the old motherland, um, one of the Henrys had a couple of speakers beheaded somewhere along the way. So,
Hell, if I was speaker for a day, I'd bring my own mic.
yeah.
I will have order.
hmm So I guess there was a reason why people were reluctant to take the position.
Yes.
Yes, there will be celebratory congratulations from party leaders and initial remarks from the speaker that are likely to follow a traditional script pledging to carry out their duties with firmness and impartiality. And even though it's not the start of a new session, a procession over to the Senate to have the upper chamber and the Governor General acknowledge the new speaker is expected. Lastly, the deputy and assistant deputy speakers are typically named in subsequent days and generally are decided upon by consensus amongst the party leaders. So, a little bit of civics, kiddies. That's how it will go down. Thank you to CTV for that article. If anybody wants to read a little more or consult it later for themselves, I will put it here in the chat. And for those who are listening, The article is titled "What You Need to Know About the Election of a New Speaker." It's a politics explainer by CTV News by Rachel Aiello, the senior digital parliamentary reporter, who does pretty good work, I have to say. Her weekly updates that come in my my email as well about what to look for and how the last week has gone and all that kind of stuff are pretty good. Sometimes I miss things and I catch it in her newsletters.
So Miss Sadeka has written "Good morning" in Hungarian. Joe Regelt Kivanok. I know that's not how it's pronounced.
Jó reggelt kívánok.
I just read it. Yeah.
Good morning.
Cool. Good morning. Good morning. The Hungarian embassy is right next door to me, by the way. Or not the embassy, but the high commissioners are the
Resident?
ambassadors' residence.
Yeah.
Yeah, the resident.
Yep.
I have it might be the High Commission. I don't know. I walk by it every day. I have a video clip here that was sent to me last night that I think you'll find interesting because the Not a Convoy Save the Children people who are gathered in Castleman. So they tried to do a live last night. And first off, they had their camera on mirror and they couldn't fix that for some reason because they don't seem to grasp technology very well because they all have stuff written on their t-shirts, but it's all backwards. So watch it descend into chaos. So they're having the big, was it October 20th that they plan on marching on Parliament Hill and having millions of people across the country support them? And just watch this.
We're standing here for the children. That's what we're here for all children.
And Trudeau for treason, guys. Don't forget. We're not letting Trudeau off the hook.
Yeah. There needs to be. Hey guys. Everyone will have their turn to talk, please.
We have to
Everyone will have their
save the
turn.
country.
Listen, you're going to have to go if you're going to keep going.
We can't let Trudeau off the hook for what happened last time, guys.
Yeah, but
these guys are taking over. It wasn't save the children.
He put our truckers in jail.
Save the country.
We need to save the country and make democracy happen. Our government is entangled with the World Economic Forum. That not happen. Trudeau for treason, stand for thee. Trudeau for treason. There's infiltrators behind us. There's infiltrators behind us. You guys are painting yourself. Trudeau for treason, save the children.
There's no question here. We want transparency.
You walked into the middle of it.
We have to hold accountability.
Said, let's go have the meeting now. How's that democracy?
What makes your voice more valuable than mine? What makes your voice more valuable than
I
mine?
was talking on a live, and you interrupted the live.
Hold on, guys. We'll be back in a second.
Here we go.
You're letting Trudeau off the hook now.
Oh, it is? Wow. Well, we still got a few people that are upset. We'll sort this out. So, we'll sort this out, guys. That's James Scarf. Some people get excited real easy. Just stay tuned. It's exciting.
Okay, wait, I got another clip for you. Hang on, here's the next one. It's like they're just so bad at this, right? Watch this
there's
one.
a good view.
Here.
You get the fuck
You
out.
get that person here.
Come here. You want the police to come here.
Yeah.
Right, so you create more division by bringing the police here. Go.
So running people over is okay, right, Jane?
What are you talking about?
You're the big lawyer.
Who's running over who?
You're the big lawyer.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Storm right out of here. Storm right out here. Almost hit somebody.
You almost just murdered someone. How about you get that on your life? I saw it. Your buddy almost just ran somebody over. You need to see yourself out of here. You almost just murdered somebody. Get that on your life, yeah?
This is all a bunch of infiltrators.
Now, my love. See ya.
See you, sweetheart.
Let's see all the faces of the
God bless you.
infiltrators.
God bless you.
Infiltrators.
God bless you.
Infiltrators.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, get on your camera. How you almost ran someone over,
Infiltrators. There's one
murderer.
there too.
That's attempted
There's a-
murder. You
God bless you.
Fuck out! Get the fuck out, you
What do
fucking
you think
bitch!
I'm doing right
Get
now?
out! Get out! Get the fuck out!
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Hands on me.
God bless you. 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 God bless you.
Fucking infiltrators.
My place.
Your place?
I didn't hear. So yeah, I just want to go.
What do you think I'm doing right now?
God bless you. 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 God is with you. God bless 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 you.
Yeah, so that happened. Yeah. Yeah. And the one guy in the background, I don't know if anybody noticed, he's wearing a Dead Kennedys t-shirt. I can guarantee you Jello Biafra would not be down with this shit. Jello Biafra was an anarchist, but not like this.
Did you see that really intense guy with the eyes wide open?
Oh, yeah. When I was watching that last night, when it was sent to me, I was like, somebody's about to get done here.
Wow, they're a mess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I believe the first words for the video were "We're here for the children," and they were here for the children for about 2.36 seconds.
Yeah, then it was treason for treason. These people don't even know what treason is. They don't know a damn thing about civics. I got into it with somebody last night who was going, it was always peaceful. I'm like, no, it was never peaceful. It was never peaceful, not from the get-go. It was racist from the get-go, not to mention the fact that it was in the wrong goddamn city. You're protesting provincial mandates in Ottawa where the federal government lies, not where the provincial government lies. Also, let's not forget that you couldn't cross into the United States of America because of a ruling by the President of the United States of America. It has nothing to do with Prime Minister Trudeau or the federal government of Canada. But they ignore all that because they just hate Trudeau and want to go along with Bowder's MOU.
I don't even think they hate Trudeau at this point. I mean, if you're that disorganized and messy, it's literally, I mean, I'm sorry, but that was the worst American Idol audition I've ever seen.
Right.
That's that group of people that sit up there and says, "Yeah, I'm going to like, be singing some Freddie Mercury or Ann Wilson," and then they open their mouth and it's like cats being skinned alive, and they get stopped after like 8 seconds, and they go, "You don't know anything, man. I was great. I was fantastic. You'll see. I'm going to get a record deal one day. I'm going to sell millions, and you'll be sorry."
Well, look.
As they're swearing.
Unorganized chaos.
Yeah, as they're swearing, the little American logo keeps on appearing above their mouths as they're giving the finger or whatnot. Because they think they're all that. And then somebody told them, I'm surprised your shower didn't crack when you sang in it. I'm just,
well,
messy. I feel sorry. I mean, like, yeah, I'm dancing because, like, fight, implode, never interrupt an enemy, enjoy it. They're imploding. That's great. They can't, organize their way out of a paper bag. That's fine. Because they can't stand each other, and everybody wants to be a star. I mean, this is a whole bunch of people wanted to be a star. I mean, you see how they walked around and they try to have their moment in front of the camera, that they talk to it like this. This is everybody trying to be a star. And y'all don't have the stuff. I mean, if this was CONVoY Idol, the equivalent of Simon Cowell would tell you that you don't have the stuff. Everyone in that bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Tamara Leach, why not?
This is the clip that happened before that one I just showed you. This is 54 seconds of more insanity. Watch this.
We have to
stand for thee. Show their true colors today.
Come on.
Hey! Oh.
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
They've all turned on one another.
I think. No, Norm! I don't want that on my video.
Hey, vote for CPC go! Get this up!
This guy is crazy. He's trying to run people over.
And French lady, he's gonna run right into him, stop him, guys, or something like that. Oh my God! Look, big guy stands in front of the car, like he's gonna stop it. It's like you're maybe like 210 pounds of muscle and whatever like this, and you've got like 2 tons of steel and fiber like this. Who's gonna win that fight?
Yeah,
and jumps on the hood, and of course, like this car makes a quick turn that falls off, like real, like just. We won't even need the drones.
They're turning on themselves.
Just like perimeter them like for about 3 hours, and they'll take each other out. I mean, I don't. Wow.
Yeah.
That I feel sorry again. I just can't. I feel sorry.
Oh yeah, I have compassion, no empathy, but compassion. It's like they've gone so far down the rabbit hole. They 100% have committed to believing the lies that they spew.
But
and they're throwing their lives away for it. That's the worst part.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is your life.
Mm-hmm. It's the only time in their lives they feel powerful.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, like I said, I can't judge because I'm not in that state. I mean, I do community theater. I volunteer in my community. I have this with you. I have a beautiful relationship with my sweetie. We're trying to build a home. We've got connections to our family that I got too much shit going on to be this angry.
Yeah, exactly. I have my moments of anger, of course, because, I hate injustice. I hate inequality. I hate the lack of equity. I hate to see people like me getting an advantage just because they look like me, right? Abusing their privilege. I hate that. And I do my best to try and fight against it and push it back and push it down. But then you have what we just saw. And I'm like, And that doesn't even exasperate me. There's a part of me that is a little bit giddy. Schadenfreude, is it Schadenfreude?
Yeah.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
It's like, I shouldn't delight in that, but I do. It's like, look, you have been tormenting Canadians for the last couple of years, and it's done. We're finished with it. And now you're eating your own young, basically.
Yeah. And we're maybe hitting a moment, because even in the States right now, there was a big issue about whether or not that budget was going to pass, whether or not the whole government was going to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And it really looked like they were heading full steam ahead into a shutdown, and they got a continuing resolution passed for 45 days. And the vote was 335 to 91. Now, among the Democrats, 209 voted for it and 1 voted against it. And the person that voted against it did so because there was no money specifically in it for Ukraine. On the GOP side, 126 voted for it and 90 voted against. So that means that block of people that are really trying to hold everything up, that extreme right-wing block, is about 90 GOP members in the House. And they're outnumbered by 126. And there's a whole bunch of Democrats that they can vote with. Now, if you take off the most progressive wing of the Democrats, who might be unhappy from some compromise, you've got a pretty solid center there. And if Kevin McCarthy wanted to work that center, that right-wing flank would be about as relevant in the House as the Conservatives are here in Canada.
Oh, yes.
That moment. And the Senate voted for it 88 to 9. So Mitch McConnell's not having it either.
Mm-hmm.
So
I saw something.
That movement may be meeting its maximum point.
Mm-hmm. saw something the other night. I don't know if you ever watched 60 Minutes, but I watched 60 Minutes the other night, and they had the guy on who spent a couple of years with Sam Bankman-Fried and wrote a book about him.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Bankman-Fried started FTX and started the Bitcoin thing, not to enrich himself. He really did want to make the world a better place. And if you watch this interview from 60 Minutes, which I believe you can find it on YouTube somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like I kind of feel bad for this kid now, because he really did want to make the world a better place, to the point where he met with Mitch McConnell and had a discussion with Mitch McConnell on which Republicans in the party can we get that are actually sane human beings that will push back against Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And he realized there weren't enough of them, so he decided that he would just pay Trump not to run in the next election
Mm-hmm.
if it was legal. And the number was floated that Trump would do it for $5 billion. He wouldn't run in the next election for $5 billion. And this kid was considering paying him that because he was worried about democracy. The irony is all the things he set out to do didn't end up, he made things worse in the long run. But I mean, his heart was in the right place. He just didn't know how to execute it because he had no management skills, and there was no management within the company, which is what brought it down ultimately, amongst other things. But if you watch that segment on 60 Minutes, it's fascinating. It's like, wow, I feel for this kid now. He could go to prison for 150 years is what he's facing.
Yeah, the maximum's 110 or something.
Yeah, there you go, 110 years.
Yeah. Yeah, his trial starts today. So yeah, it's yeah.
I feel bad for the kid. He really did want to make a difference.
I didn't know that part of it, because
yeah, neither did I.
What they're saying, at least on the radio, is that the way he did stuff when mixed with the rather lavish lifestyle he chose to live as he was trying to save the world, if that intention was there the entire time, let's say, he didn't get distracted from it, kind of makes it an open and shut case.
He gave away so much money, though, it was insane. Like, it was insane, the money he gave away. Like, we're talking philanthropy on a scale that's not been seen before, and he did it in a short time period. You know, quick rise, quick fall.
Okay.
Yeah, watch the thing on 60 Minutes, and I think you come away with it with a different opinion. I want to read the book this guy wrote, and this guy who wrote the book spent, like, I think 3 years with him. And then he spent time with him recently while he was on release at his parents' place.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow. Yeah, I have a whole different view of this kid now.
Okay. See, for me, it was like another crypto bro, and I just never paid attention to the story. That's why I never mentioned it on the show. But I had no idea that was the background. I just...
Yeah, neither did I.
I just didn't care about him enough to find out.
It's interesting to me now, because when I discover that he actually was well-intentioned, it just went off the rails, because he's actually said anybody over the age of 45 shouldn't be doing any of this. They don't know what they're talking about. And the guy he was writing the book on him is like in his 60s, and he's kind of like, and I get that mentality. I thought that way too when I was 20. Right. Then you get a little bit older and you start realizing, oh no, I need some gray hairs in here to help. We need people 45 and older who have experience in this area, experience with management, experience with running a company. And he was too foolish or too vain or too naive. I don't know. Naive, I think, would be the best word. Anyway, it's worth looking into.
Yeah. No, I definitely will. That like I'm saying, I was just, for me, it was, I guess I have a stereotype of the crypto bro.
Oh yeah. And he's not that.
So when I heard another crypto bro is getting nabbed, it was like, that's all I needed to know. It's like, yeah, I'm not interested in this story, so I never read anything.
Well, that was my take too, because I thought he was like Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli, who has the most punchable face on earth, and it turns out no, that wasn't the case at all. It wasn't the case at all, and he became really good friends with, of all people, Tom Brady. Like genuinely good friends. And what the author said was fascinating. He says, in school, Tom Brady was the good-looking star quarterback, and Sam Bankman-Fried was the geek of the geeks, who the geeks didn't even want to hang out with, and somehow these two became best of friends. And when it all came crashing down, Tom Brady was heartbroken, because he believed in the kid and he believed in what the kid wanted to do to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
So it was a fascinating insight into this kid. And I feel for him now. And I feel for him now because he's going to go away forever. Like he's finished.
Yeah.
You know, you can murder a person and get out in 20 years in the United States of America, but commit a financial crime? Nope. Because what rules that country? Money. It's just money. I mean, Bernie Madoff gets sent up for what, 175 years? How many people did he murder? None. Yeah, he destroyed a lot of lives, but he didn't kill anybody.
Maybe a few people.
Yeah.
As a result of
Yes.
losing everything.
Well, actually, a few did. Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean like you're gambling.
Yeah. Yep.
It's gambling, right? The stock market is the wealthy person's way of walking up to a slot machine, putting a $20 bill in, and keep pulling the arm. There's no guarantees in the stock market. It's all white collar gambling.
Yep. Indeed. How are we doing on time?
Sometimes they have the game fixed a little bit. We got about 10 minutes.
Got about 10 minutes. Okay. Is there anything more
I
you
want to
wanted
share
to
a
say on
screen. Pardon?
Was there any more you wanted to say on that?
No, that's it on that. I just have
Okay.
something that I got to show you from somebody because we've got a new variant of COVID coming along and a new vaccine coming along.
Yes.
And I just saw this today I don't even know who this person is, but I went on his page for a moment and it's all anti-vax, weird 4chan, QAnon stuff. But I got to show you this because this one just makes me chuckle. Canadian government admits 74% of triple vaccinated now have VAIDS. What is that? And it says, look at this. It says fact checked. No, it's not. Ian Copeland, PhD. How to spot anti-vax nonsense starring censored for sure. 1, no link provided to source. 2, look for a double check mark because that makes the claim credible. Sarcasm. Look for a citation for a made-up term. VAIDS from a made-up source. Expose News. Mission accomplished.
Very active imagination derangement syndrome?
I guess. I don't know what else VAIDS could be because I've had 5 shots and I'm fine. I'll be getting my 6th once it's available. VAIDS, yeah.
Oh my God.
They just make it up as they go along.
That's so terrible.
Oh, if you go on that guy's page at censored 4 number 4 sure, holy crap. It's just an ocean of lunacy is what it is. It's an ocean of lunacy.
Wow. Yes, the COVID-19 booster campaigns began Monday with the newly approved vaccine rolling out in Quebec and Alberta. I'm guessing there'll be slightly later start dates in other provinces. The campaign comes amid warnings about rising COVID cases, and it with the flu shot is being made a little bit made available a little bit earlier this year than normal years. You can get both at the same time, by the way, and the National Advisory Council on Immunization recommended that last year, that you can get your flu shot and your COVID shot at the same time. The first doses, of course, of the latest COVID-approved, Health Canada-approved COVID vaccine will go to long-term care, senior homes, and other high-risk settings. And the new vaccine targets the XBB 1.5 subvariant and is administered in just 1 dose. The rollout for a wider public is expected later this month. In Quebec, the Public Health Institute estimates that there are about 20 to 30,000 new cases per day at the moment. So it is, we are on an uptick. And if you're living in Ontario, if you've seen the wastewater data, it's getting close to the highest levels we've seen probably since late 2022. So there's an uptick happening here that's more significant than what we've been experiencing in the last maybe year and a half. Dr. Don Vin, who's an infectious disease specialist at McGill University Health Center, says that he really does recommend that you get this vaccine. People shouldn't rely on the fact that, well, I've got the older vaccines, I've got the original one, or I got the bivalent one, and I don't really need a booster. Don't see it as a booster because it's not boosting what you've previously been immunized against. It's essentially a new vaccine. Right.
See, some of what the anti-vaxxers go on about is, oh, how many boosters do you got to get? Well, you see, as the virus mutates and changes and gets stronger, you have to protect yourself against that. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, really? So let me put it in a manner that you might be able to understand. So in the 1700s, you had a musket that took like 5 minutes to load and fire off a round. Today, I can have an M16 or an AR-15 in each arm with bump stocks and fire off 60 rounds in 3 seconds.
Mhm.
So what do you do to protect yourself from that? You get body armor. Before, you just would move out of the way. When you see them loading the musket, you would run and they couldn't catch you. But now the guy walks in with an AR-15 on each arm and he can round off 60 per, if their magazine is 60 rounds,
Yep.
there's 120 rounds. You can fire that off in seconds. So you put on body armor and you get behind armor plating. Think of the vaccine as that. As the virus, which is the weapon, as it grows and advances and becomes more sophisticated, so does your protection level. Has to grow and advance and become more sophisticated. That's what booster shots are. And in this case, it's not even a booster. It's just a new shot. Now, if they can't understand that explanation, if they can't relate to that one, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I could break it down into hockey and how goalies used to wear no masks. And now they're made out of Kevlar.
Oh, man.
At one point, goalies were not allowed to go to their knees and could not catch. They had to have both hands on the stick. Hey, we adapted and changed. As players got better, goaltenders got better. Defense. Vaccinations are the defense. The defense improves with their equipment, with their athletic ability, with their playing style. I'm just trying to break it down so people can understand it in simple terms, but they don't want to.
Yeah.
They want to think things like this. Turn off your cell phones on October 4th. The EBS is going to test the system using 5G. This will activate the Marburg virus in people who have been vaccinated and sadly turn some of them into zombies. I have seen that hundreds of times in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, boy. All right.
We live in the most informative time in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
All access to human knowledge right here on my phone. And people believe stuff like that.
Just weird.
We used to think if people had more information, they would make more informed, well thought out decisions because they'd be smarter. Turns out that wasn't the process.
Seems we had to teach them how to sift through information first in this quantity.
Critical thinking.
Yep. Alberta. In Alberta, there is an outbreak at the Beaver Dam Commons, a Calgary independent living facility for people with dementia. On September 23rd, they had 4 residents present with symptoms, and over the next couple of days, it climbed to about 16 cases. Thankfully, they were mild, and most of the residents were previously vaccinated and taking all the precautions that they could. Eric Arts, who's a research chair at Western University in London, Ontario, also points to the wastewater signals that are showing that COVID's on the rise. And he says, unfortunately, it's going up actually much more rapidly than I had hoped in terms of its increases. We're starting to see increases we haven't seen for about a year now. So in addition to getting an up-to-date vaccine, experts are also recommending that people start considering wearing masks for another layer of protection over the next couple of weeks this fall as cases are rising. So there's a little bit of news you can use, and I'm hoping to get someone to come on the show who can talk to us a little bit about it and some of the new variants that we've been hearing about over the last few weeks. Have had people concerned because they didn't know whether or not they would create more severe cases or anything, but they all seem to be from the Omicron family as well. So there doesn't seem to be a whole new branch that has come out yet, which gives us a little advantage in terms of trying to get ahead of things, which is good. Pretty much for the world at this moment. So that's hopefully we'll get somebody to be able to give us a little more. Remember that this respiratory season, particularly for pneumonia and the flu, there's usually 2 seasons, one in the fall and then one again in the spring. So the whole respiratory virus season usually goes into early May. And remember, it's not just COVID. So if you feel that you've got something and you're testing at home and it doesn't show up COVID, remember there's still RSV, there's still the flu, or in the late summer there was an outbreak of whooping cough out in northern Ontario. So if you have the ability, if you have the luxury, do make sure to take the time to stay at home until you confirm what it is or until you feel better, right? Take time for self-care if that is, unfortunately, I have to say, a luxury that is available to you, because it shouldn't be. All right, Mr. Grizzly, do we have anything else, or do we call it a show?
Let's wrap it up. I got to get to the office.
All right, kits and cubs, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and that word of mouth is priceless. So please tell all your peeps and poops all about us. We really appreciate it when you do. Hello. Because democracy is something that you do. Remember, if you live in Manitoba, today is voting day. Polls open at 8 o'clock your time. Remember, friends don't let friends vote alone. So bring someone to the polls with you and cast your ballot with enthusiasm, right? This is, again, a luxury. It's a fundamental right, but not everybody has it. Not everybody has it. Not everybody gets to enjoy it. So vote enthusiastically when you go and cast your ballot. Enjoy this. Democracy is supposed to be fun as well, right? It's not just something that you do. You're supposed to have a good time doing it. If not, you're doing it wrong. If democracy doesn't come with some laughter, you're doing it wrong. Okay. Of course, donate to the Red Cross, write your MPs, write your newspapers, all that good stuff. Let them know that you demand better. All right. And if you want to make sure that you do not miss an episode as soon as it comes off the bandwidth, then you need to subscribe to our pod page, sponsored by The Ray Girl. Yes, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And that way we slide right into your box when we're fresh and ready. And since you like subscribing to things, and all we do is give, well, there's the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel where we provide not one, not two, but three full buttons for you to smash with. Like, share, subscribe. Mr. Grizzly's 3 favorite words other than... Say them.
Free beer today.
Yeah, that's we like that. All right, so that's where you go for that. That's the little squiggly there, and the squiggly that's by Mr. Grizzly's head. Well, that brings you to our coffee page. That's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And that's where you can make your contribution to the Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund, where coffee and hot chocolate, because you are what you drink, and Caesar and Guinness help keep our vocal cords nice and moist so we can deliver a wonderful product for you. So
I'm very dry right now. I need a coffee, I guess.
I'll take the chair. You go. I'll take the chair.
No, that's not how it works. I still got to produce this.
What do we do today, Pinky? Try to take over the network. So please.
Do I get to do the words of wisdom?
What's your words of wisdom? Just a second. I got to let her in here. She's drive me nuts if I don't let her in. So go ahead, sir, please.
So yes, coffee. Make your donations, and what there's been 3 already this month from you kits. So thank you. We really appreciate it, and we will give you proper credit.
There's been 3 this morning while we're doing this.
Really? Holy crap, kids!
3 more. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying it can be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and gentle with yourselves. Be as kind with yourselves as you're being to us, please. Mademoiselle Fox, some words of wisdom, please.
Oh, well, thank you.
You gotta get closer to the mic. Hang on.
We can hear her.
Hang on. Here. Who's that one?
Oh,
So bossy. I wanted to say thank you for all the nice comments. They make me feel so good. And I am definitely tech challenged, so I can't right now use my phone to read the comments. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for that. You're all such a nice community, and I guess my words of wisdom, not directed at anyone on this chat, is just try not to be a ding dong. Go through your day and try not to be a ding dong or yell at people.
I'll do my best.
That wasn't directed at you.
I'm having heat.
No, I'm known for yelling at people though.
Oh well, a little bit, but me too. Okay, you can yell at bad drivers though, because I can't help it. Like words just fly out my mouth when people do bad driving. I'm like, fuck you, fucker.
Okay, that's enough.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
I was having a lovely. I was just enjoying a lovely cup of tea.
I'll tell you.
I gotta go. I gotta get to
Okay,
work.
I know. I'll tell you why. But I walk in my neighborhood, and children are walking to school, and they almost get hit, frequently. So then I have to yell at those drivers.
Yep.
So my dream job is to be a crossing guard.
The crossing guard.
I have a whistle, and I have a vest.
And a hat that says security.
And a hat that says security. And I've done security at events, and I've yelled at bad drivers, and I have caused one accident.
It's not something to brag about, babe.
No, it was a guy who got mad because I wouldn't let him cross the line. There were people running, and he's like, well, I need to go home. And I'm like, well, you can go the other way. This is the way that you can go. And
she's got a whistle, and Gandalf has got nothing on her. You shall not pass. Whistle and an attitude.
All you need
Michael
is
Bay presents the crossing guard.
A whistle, a safety vest, a security hat, and if you want to take it up a level, a clipboard.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
Not
all right.
Clipboard. No. Okay, Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom, please.
Yeah, just a secret thing you might not know, but I'll share it with you now. If you aren't aware, you can get into any place on Earth with a ladder and a safety vest and a hard hat. You want to walk into a concert, show up with a ladder, a safety vest, and a hard hat, and they're pretty much going to let you in. They won't even question you. I don't know if that's words of wisdom or just or words on how to get somewhere when you need to. Anyway.
All right, Mr. Grizzly, roll the credits, please. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum. And The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. And before we go, just a little shout out to the Canadian national men's volleyball team trying to qualify for the Olympics. Tough loss today against number one team in the world, Poland, but they drove them all the way to 5 sets and then to overtime. Yeah, so they're in it. So fingers crossed. All right.
We got to get Devin on the show soon.
Yes, he's traveling all over the place, so I can't get him in Toronto for more than a week and a half. But he's agreed to come on when he finally gets home for a bit.
Okay, sounds good. All right. There was something. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, October 21st will be the next pubcast. We're going to have, I understand a few people, Tim and Dan, are probably going to stop by. So, what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to move it to another area of the pub where we'll have more space because I expect more people to be coming in and out that day.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna square it up with them over the next day or so and say, well, just this section right here. So there's a little bit more room for people to get in and out, and and I can still sort of zone off the area so that nobody will appear on camera who doesn't want to be. So there you go. Heads up for that.
All right. And a little programming note tomorrow morning, kids, for a very, very brief, according to him. We'll see if he's of his word, because last time he said very brief, he was with us for a while. But Charles Adler is going to drop in for a couple of minutes to give us his impressions of the election result.
Okay, fantastic.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. See you.